This is Ryan from Tremonti. I want to take a quick look at one-click installs or the quick build installs. Different hosting providers call it a different thing, but a lot of times any hosting provider, if you're on a shared hosting account, will offer some type of easy setup for a lot of different CMSs and other PHP-based applications. So I am just scrolling through one-in-one's App Center, and you can see a few like WordPress, Joomla, and Magento. And those are just the recommended ones. You can see that they have quite a few here, MediaWiki, and a whole bunch of other ones, including Drupal and Moodle. And these are great. But there's one key drawback, and that is you're not sometimes installing the distribution that each of these applications release. You are installing a distribution that is specific to your hosting provider. And that is very much the case with WordPress. So even though it's great to be able to create an instance of WordPress in a matter of minutes, just be careful and know that you're not using the actual distribution released by WordPress.org. And that will affect how your site works in the future. So, I say beware. Well, I haven't yet, but I will say beware of these easy install programs. But they are useful. They have use. You can use them as demos. You can use them as sandbox sites where you can go in and just test a whole bunch of different things. But do not use these to develop your next site and ever release it into production. And that's just my opinion, but I'll show you why. So we'll start with one-in-one, and we'll go through their app creation center. So we'll just create a new instance of WordPress here. And call it test. I apologize, I must have somehow skipped a step here. Okay. So I called it and gave it a name, and I need to give it an admin credential. Now, already we have a couple different things. We have a managed WordPress or just WordPress on its own. And you can see that managed WordPress is an additional cost. So we definitely just want to go with the WordPress only install. But here itself, you're going to get some extra things that you may not want. So this, like I said, this is not the source distribution. Just assign it to WordPress.netbase 100, which is the primary domain for this account. All right. And it gives you this helpful little Ajax with the status update. It sets up the database for you, which is also great, but you may have a hard time finding the database that it's pointing back to, so make sure there too you know that which database this instance is using. A lot of times I like to have the control of being able to name the database. So while it's finishing up, I also have a Bluehost account, and they have a very similar concept. They call it one-click WordPress install. They even advertise it on the front of their home page. And so, here you can go into the one-click installs, and as with one-in-one, you get a whole host of different applications that you can install. I can click WordPress, and again I get some upsell options. I can go with $400 worth of stuff that I don't need, or just go straight to install or import. I can select one of my domains that I have or use their temporary domain. I can also add a directory, and here are more different things that we have. And we'll just, uncheck these. I don't know. You may find these things useful, but I doubt it. It's just basically more crap to add to your instance. You do have the power to change, the admin credentials here as well, and you do have the ability, unlike one-in-one, to set your own database, so you can give it its own name and everything if you've already created a database. So that's good. All right, going back to one-in-one, so they've set up the WordPress instance for me, and I'll just go edit website. It'll direct me to the admin login page. Okay, so already there's something different, which we can see that this is a one-in-one thing, and it's saying configure and optimize your website now. I don't really have any interest in that. There's already a plugin that's installed called One-in-One WP Wizard. So this is junk that I'd like to deactivate. In fact, I would probably delete it. Also, a while back, a few months ago, One-in-One disabled the editor, the admin editors. And, as a practice, if you have a lot of people accessing the website, you just assign them specific roles so that they don't see the editor, because, it's very easy to break your website by going in here and changing some of the source code. But to have that option is very important. And so they restricted that, but now it's part of their install. Another thing that they did, and I'm not sure if they changed it, is the media library. They set the upload limit, and I think that's in the htaccess file, to 2 megabytes, which is ridiculous. I mean, so many files these days, especially high-resolution photos, can be above 2 megabytes. So that's something right out of the gate that you'd need to change. Now, going with Bluehost install, they do something similar where they have their own plugins that you'd need to delete or disable, and they restrict the file types down to the bare minimum. Now, I don't know how familiar you are with WordPress, but WordPress already has file type restrictions. And but they allow a lot of Office formats like Word, and they allow for PDFs to be uploaded into the media library. Well, a one-click install through Bluehost restricts all of those aside from some bare minimum image file formats. And I won't go into the details here, but you can tell just by looking at the Bluehost one-click install functions PHP file and the regular WordPress core distribution functions PHP file, that there's a difference in how many lines there are. So I would say that just be careful with these one-click easy, quick and dirty installs. Use them as demos for clients or as sandbox sites, but outside of that, really just use the WordPress core distribution. It'll save you a lot of headache moving forward in the development process. This is Ryan with Tremonti, and thank you for your time.